According to the Columbia Electronic Encyclopedia, culture is an integrated system of socially acquired values, beliefs, and rules of conduct which limit the range of accepted behaviors in any given society. So for New York, its cultures are Brooklyn, Staten Island, and Manhattan. And by the end of this, I'm going to show you how each have something unique about them. So starting with the most populous borough with 2,629,150 people, which is more than Manhattan, which contains Times Square, is Brooklyn. When you see someone, more specifically hear someone, with this distinct accent, you can right away tell that this person is from New York. Out of the 5 boroughs, Brooklyn has the most prominent, distinguished accent. Here's a video that depicts the Brooklyn accent.
When I say Brooklyn, there are 5,000 Brooklyn accents. We're talking about the one that most people like to learn. It might help to think of Brooklyn Italian. When one is speaking Italian, the tip of the tongue is more forward.
Pronto? Pensione Albatros? Potrei parlare con la signorina Nisi.
T's and D's are very important. At the end of the word, T and D are not quite released.
You speaking like a sweet fellow around here.
Oh, yeah, you blend.
So TR will tend to sound like a ch. So you have tree, traffic. DR will be like a sh, like drink, drive. The sound changes work much better when you're speaking a little faster.
No, I worked on my hair a long time. You hit it. He hits my head.
Instead of saying mother, I'm going to leave the tongue down and say mother, or even mother. Sometimes people get the idea, you can sort of plop it on the floor. Father, sister, brother. The British dialect would actually do the same thing, but there's a different rhythm to it. It's short.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father's mate of elderberry.
That's you.
If you're really going to do a strong Brooklyn, you have to be able to say coffee and walk. The aw sound is going to slide in, it's almost like a boot ball.
Welcome to Coffee Talk. I'm your host, Mr. Richmond. On this show, we talk about coffee, New York, daughters, dogs, you know.
Not only does their accent make it unique, Coney Island is a place where tourists go. It actually has the 16th oldest roller coaster in the world, the Cyclone. When I was 12, I actually went on this, and it was the worst experience ever. The experience was thrilling, terrifying, and tantalizing. Coney Island is right off the boardwalk next to the beach. Not only does Coney Island have the Cyclone, it also has a Wonder Wheel. This is a Ferris wheel that isn't just stationary, it actually has moving carts. Moving on to food. Brooklyn, New York is known for having the best bagels and the best pizza. Focusing more on the bagels. What makes Brooklyn bagels best? For one thing, it is not the water like everyone thinks. It is actually an important step in the process of making them. This step is the boiling of the bagels. According to NPR, the key step to making a true bagel is boiling. Traditionally, the chilled dough rings are poached or boiled in a solution of water and malt barley for anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes. This is essential to produce a more uniquely chewy bagel. The steam will gelatinize the surface only and encourage more color and shine. The result is a lighter, puffier, and thinner crust. Speaking of which, will Mr. Hunt and Walter please come to the front of the room to taste, feel, and smell the difference between a bagel from New York and a bagel from Giant. So, I don't know how this is gonna work, but swing it.
Wait, that's it right here.
Yeah. So first, the smell. Because it's fresh, you can smell the different seeds and saltiness. This is the New York bagel. First, you could look at the size to see how bigger the New York bagel is compared to the Giant brand. So you guys could smell the difference. And it's more potent, and this is more bland. Next is the texture. The New York bagel, which you could take out. The New York bagel is more softer and crisp, while the Giant brand but you guys have napkins, so, and you can take out one of those too. And the Giant brand, as you're feeling it, is more hard and a little rubbery. Now, the taste. So if you taste the New York bagel, you could actually taste the different seeds, and it's more stronger in flavor than the Giant brand. The New York bagel should kind of melt in your mouth, while the Giant brand not only feels rubbery, but should taste rubbery too. So here are two pictures. On the left is an overall view of Coney Island, which that's the Wonder Wheel. And this is a picture of the Cyclone. So these three things are what make Brooklyn unique. So now let's take a look at what makes Staten Island unique. The first thing that comes to mind when I think of Staten Island is it's built on a dump, which is completely true. According to NewYorkCityGov.org, at 2,200 acres, Fresh Kills Park will be almost 3 times the size of Central Park, and the largest park developed in New York City in over 100 years. Fresh Kills Park is a public park being built atop a landfill reclamation project on Staten Island. According to my mom, people from Brooklyn say that Staten Island is Brooklyn with a cover charge, also known as the Verrazano Bridge. And this is because before Staten Island was a borough, it was part of Brooklyn, and then they just slapped a toll and they connected Brooklyn and Staten Island with the Verrazano Bridge. On the brighter side, Staten Island has a historic Richmond town. So historicrichmondtown.org says, "We are a completely authentic, real, and original town and farm museum complex, featuring unique treasures dating all the way back to the mid-1600s. Set on 4 sites with over 30 original historic structures and more than 130,000 historic artifacts, photographs, and archival collections dating back to the 17th century." So I actually been here, and that's a picture of like where they used to live, and this is like a main building which almost everybody goes to. Next up is the Staten Island Ferry. It is a free passenger ferry service operated by the New York City Department of Transportation. It runs 5.2 miles in New York Harbor between the New York City boroughs of Manhattan and Staten Island. The ferry operates 24/7. As you ride on the ferry, you pass Ellis Island, which contains the Statue of Liberty. And you can also see the skyline of the city. At night, both of these light up and look like little fireflies. So here's a picture of the Staten Island Ferry. And as you can see, you literally pass the Statue of Liberty right there, and this is actually heading to Staten Island with Manhattan and behind it. Speaking of Manhattan, finally the last of these boroughs is Manhattan. First up is Central Park. NewYorkCityGovPark.org says Central Park is arguably one of the most famous parks in the world. Central Park is a man-made wonder. Not only is it the first public park made in America, but it's also one of the most frequently visited, with over 25 million guests per year. People don't only come to see the park, they also come to see Times Square. If you've never been, you definitely have to visit. Times Square is considered the heart of Manhattan. There's so many things to do and see, from going to see live performances to Broadway, to going to museums like Ripley's Believe It or Not, or the Museum of Natural History. The choices are endless. So, in a big city like New York, how do people get around? Well, there's so many options. There's a subway train, bus, taxi, horse-drawn carriage, bike, and the most common, just simply walking, which is what most people do. So I've never realized how big Central Park is, but that's Central Park, and it's humongous. And this is a picture of Times Square in the morning, so as you can imagine what it would look like at night, like the lights, the people, the noises. And here's a picture of just like different trains and different buses that you would see in Manhattan, the city. And I have a graph. So this is the amount of trips in 2013 in millions. So New York, New Jersey, 4,279 million trips, and in the other 16 systems, 4,000 1,214 million. So like, that's like insane. People may think that Brooklyn, Staten Island, and Manhattan are similar just because they're all New York, but as you can see, each borough is unique and different in their own way.